My peoples. Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Jaron Boots Ennis. These are fighters that could, at any given moment, sign contracts to fight each other. And for some reason, these fights look like they're not happening. It's a whole three-way situation going on over here. Apparently, Teofimo Lopez sent Jaron Boots Ennis an offer. Boots turned it down. So people were saying that Boots ducked Teo. But now, Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney were engaged in negotiations. And Teofimo Lopez pulls out. So is anybody ducking? Did Boots duck Teo? Is Teo ducking Devin now? So Boots said that, he wasn't trying to sell his soul for a fight with Teo. Whatever he meant by that. But he basically said, so I'm supposed to sell my soul to fight Teo, but he doesn't have to sell his soul to fight Devin? Not sure exactly what he means by that, but that's deep. Y'all already know, my peoples. I'm Jay Smith. This is Box Town. This is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. Let's talk about it. I think it's very interesting. I was actually celebrating. I was celebrating what I thought was gonna be an upcoming fight with Jaron Boots Ennis and Teofimo Lopez. For whatever reason, that did not materialize. But I was looking forward to it. That's a fight that I really wanted to see. And I thought that Boots was going to make that fight happen. Simply because, that magic question that he can't avoid. People are always going to keep asking, who you beat, who he fought. And Boots beat a lot of real good opponents. We have to keep it real. Beating some high level guys. But they don't have a name. They're not famous. They're not stars. And that's part of the world of boxing. Boxing fans want to see stars fight each other. If you're a name, which Boots has already become, people want to see him fight other names. And Jaron Boots Ennis versus Teofimo Lopez, that would have been a big fight. But he has his reasons why he turned it down, which he hasn't been specific about it, but the words he say, that's deep. Angry Mexican, what's the deal, my brother? The first one in the building. So yeah, my peoples, there's 5 of us up in here, man. Everybody hit that like button, man. Don't be playing with my feelings. I'm gonna give you a fire live this morning. Kyle, we're here. Salute. What's the deal, Kyle? Appreciate you dropping in, my brother. So, the whole situation with Teofimo Lopez is crazy because he was trying to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. They was not able to make that fight. Boots turned him down. But now, him and Devin Haney look like they're about to fight, and he turns Devin Haney down. The letter is out there. The letter that was sent from Teofimo's team to Devin Haney's team. And, thank you for your professionalism in these negotiations. Teofimo Lopez decided that he doesn't want to fight Devin, that he's going to go in a different direction. So, in the middle of these negotiations, Teofimo was going to get a career payday, I think $11 million. And he decided not to fight Devin. Make of that what you will. But it looks like Teofimo doesn't feel confident that he could beat Devin Haney. It really does look that way. Angry Mexican, Teo saying he don't trust Saudi. Liam, biggest boxing channel out there. Trust me. No doubt, my brother. Appreciate you, my guy. So I gotta say, Angry Mexican, Teo saying he don't trust Saudi. That doesn't fly with me. And the reason I'm telling you that doesn't fly with me, because he never said he don't trust them when he was trying to fight Boots. Now when it's him and Devin Haney, all of a sudden he don't trust them anymore. He was trying to fight Boots. And His Excellency Turki Alalshikh and them, they was gonna be involved in that fight. So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. King Nadish, most consistent boxing YouTuber. Ooh, appreciate you, King Nadish. No doubt, my brother. Um, we have to consider the fact that Teofimo Lopez is trying to fight Jaron Boots Ennis, a 147 pounder, highly considered the best welterweight right now. He has two of the titles in the division. And Teofimo looked like he was ready to fight him. It was Boots who pulled out. So now, all of a sudden, you don't want to fight Devin Haney because you don't trust the Saudis or whoever it is. I don't buy it. I don't buy it, my peoples. I I walked out of this whole situation feeling like Teofimo is not confident that he could beat Devin Haney. Or he don't want to lose to him because of the scrutiny that's going to come from that. And if you and somebody don't like each other and you lose to them, they will have shit on you anytime your fight come up. And I don't think Teofimo wants Devin Haney to have that win over him. Angry Mexican. Teo disrespected Turkey and apologized. But from what I read, he doesn't think he'll be a fair shake on the cards. I mean, I don't know why. Look, I thought Teo ducked Dev in the past for undisputed to fight Cambosos. You see? That's and you actually stole the words out of my mouth. I wasn't gonna say those exact words, but I was going to bring that up to tell you why I feel like he's ducking right now. You may recall that he could have fought Devin Haney before, and he chose not to. As a matter of fact, I'll remind you guys that Devin Haney and Teofimo, and this was before Teofimo Lopez even signed up to fight Cambosos. He had not signed up for that fight. And he said they were together, in doing an interview with somebody, I think, from the Zone. And I think Teofimo said, we're going to fight next. Or if you win your next fight, we're going to fight next. Or if I win my next fight, we're going to fight next. I don't remember exactly who was about to fight, but Teofimo said, we're going to fight. And then he didn't. He chose not to. So he had an opportunity to fight Devin a while back, and he chose not to. And now he had another opportunity to fight Devin. Once again, he turned it down. That's it. That's it, my peoples. If it looks like a duck, if it sounds like a duck, if it run like a duck, the hell you think it is, a goose? Angry Mexican. It's hard for people to say duck because Teo wants to fight a dangerous Boots, but Duck Devin seems confusing. It does. It does, my brother. Because I think we would agree that Boots is a bigger threat than Devin. But, we're talking about power versus boxing skills. Maybe Teofimo sees some holes in Boots' game that he feel like he can exploit, and thinks Devin Haney's gonna be able to outbox him with his footwork, quickness, long ass jab, and everything else he got in the bag. Maker, salute, brother. Appreciate you dropping in, my G. Good morning. So, this whole situation with Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, and Jaron Boots Ennis, it's disappointing to say the least. Because we wanted to see Teo versus Boots. That didn't happen. We wanted to see Teo versus Devin. That looks like it's not happening. And I will say, though, sometimes there's things that go on behind the scenes that as boxing fans, we're not aware of them. And because of that, decisions are made that don't really make sense to us. I find it interesting that Boots said, so I'm supposed to sell my soul to fight Teo, but he doesn't have to sell his to fight Devin. So I find that interesting. What exactly does he mean by sell my soul? Do you have to sell your soul to get involved with His Excellency Turki Alalshikh? Is that the case? Angry Mexican. It was already surprising that Teo versus Devin card was going to be on the same day as Tank Roach rematch. Yeah, that didn't even make no sense. That didn't even make no sense. You both of those fights, could bring in a big audience. You're gonna split that if you're fighting on the same day. So, although, although, since Devin Haney and Teofimo would have been fighting in in Saudi Arabia, the the time zones may have been different, so they would not have been fighting at the same time. But still, if we're talking about two fights that would both be, on pay per view, people are not gonna pay for both fights. A lot of people are not gonna pay for both. So I think that was definitely a bad idea to even consider staging both of those cards on the same night. Maker, I think you're right. He's referring to Turkey. That's my guess. I mean, all I'm saying, and we've talked about His Excellency Turki Alalshikh and people having a bad feeling about him. Little things. Remember when Tank Davis said that it looks like some, what was the word he used? Maybe like some demonic type shit. I don't know, something like that. Where His Excellency Turki Alalshikh gathers up all the fighters and puts them in one place and he gets in the middle to take a picture with them. That to be honest, that did give me a little bit of a weird vibe. Because it seems like with some of the things that I've seen, it looks like His Excellency Turki Alalshikh wants to control everybody around him. Wants to, run them like, you do this, this what you're gonna do. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. There's just little things that I've seen in Turkey that make it seem like he's someone who wants to control the people around him. I'll give you another example, something that I've seen that I don't like. Look where Anthony Joshua won. Or no, not Anthony Joshua. Um, who was it? Well, let me go to the latest one that I could remember off the top of my head. Dmitry Bivol. When Dmitry Bivol won to become undisputed versus Arthur Beterbiev, what did he do for Turki Alalshikh? Signed his gloves that he wore for the fight and his shorts and gave them as a gift to Turkey so he could put them in his museum, I guess. I don't like that at all. And I'm going to tell you why I don't like it. I hate it. I hate it. Because fighters, I know this for a fact. I'm a fighter. I mean, I'm not active, but I'm a fighter in here, my peoples. I fought as an amateur, fought as a professional. I am a fighter. And the one thing I could tell you, the shorts that I wore for my pro debut, I got them right there. The boxing shoes that I wore for my pro debut, I got them right there. Even the socks, that I wore for my debut, I got them. So what I'm trying to say is that fighters, when they wear something to a fight, there's an emotional attachment to that. I know for a fact that Dmitry Bivol did not want to give away those gloves and those shorts. But guess what? He felt like he couldn't say no. Felt like there was nothing he could do about it. His Excellency Turki Alalshikh is this person who gets whatever he wants and things are done his way. So imagine when he says, people, oh, can you donate that to me? I would like you to donate it to my museum. What people are gonna say? Oh, of course, His Excellency. But inside here, I'm sure he didn't want to donate that shit. And I seen it multiple times where fighters fight and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna donate my gloves to His Excellency and I'm gonna donate this. They don't want to donate that shit, I promise you. But they don't really have a choice. That's how I see it. So, yes, His Excellency Turki Alalshikh has put together some good cards, some good fights, has brought some creativity into boxing where, the card in Times Square, a future card that is being set up for Alcatraz. I like some of the things that he's doing. But I really don't like that he comes across as an authoritarian. Somebody who forces people to do what he wants. I don't like the fact that Dimitri Bivol is not going to fight David Benavidez for Undisputed next because Turkey didn't want it. He publicly said, I'm not interested in David Benavidez. So I see Turkey as, a hardcore boxing fan who want to come in, who decided to get into boxing and put together good fights. And that aspect of it, I like it. But I don't like the fact that he wants to control fighters, control what fighters do and who they fight and all this other stuff. I don't like that at all. Maker, Turk power tripping. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. I gotta agree with you, my brother. Angry Mexican. Teo is so goofy sometimes. It's hard to believe anything he says. His father is a wild card also. Shout out to them. You've done great things, but looking bad lately. I agree with you, my brother. I agree with you 100%. Father and son duo who accomplished a whole lot in the sport of boxing, but they looking goofy as hell right now. Teofimo looking goofy as hell right now. I think, look, I'm going to tell you like this. Teofimo Lopez could have been or should have been a much bigger star than what he is right now. And you know why he's not a bigger star? Because he don't be knowing how to act. All that racist shit that he want to do, want to play a villain. Sometimes Teofimo look like he's forcing it for the cameras. And he said, nah, I'm always working. I'm always working. Like when the cameras are on, and when you force it for the camera, sometimes you even come across as fake. So, Teofimo Lopez, he's one of the best fighters of this era. We got to give him his credit. One of the most accomplished young fighters of this era as well. Personality-wise, he got a lot to work on. Angry Mexican. Turkey is far from perfect. However, I truly believe boxing needed a shakeup. I agree with you. I think boxing did need a shakeup. We got to a point where a lot of the best fighters were not fighting each other, and it looks like they were not headed in that direction anyways. And it seems like with Turkey injecting some money into it and some promotion, he's been able to make some fights. But, I don't know if, it's looking like His Excellency Turki Alalshikh is a double-edged sword. There's the good side that we're going to benefit from and we're going to be happy about. And then there's the bad side where we're going to be hearing that he wants to control the fighters. Fighters don't want to sign their soul away and all this other stuff. So, from our perspective, when he put together those good cards, it's beautiful. We're going to enjoy a bunch of good fights. But then we also have to deal with these situations where, look, we can't get Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, and apparently Turkey's part of the reason why that fight is not happening. Devin Haney versus Boots. Teofimo Lopez versus Boots. That's a fight that I was already celebrating because I thought it was going to happen. And it looked like Boots is not fighting Teofimo. And Turkey might be involved in him not wanting to take that fight because he said he don't want to sell his soul. Adam, how do I look you up on BoxRec? So let me. Damn, I would have to grab my. What if you are you gonna be in this live for a little bit longer? Cause when it gets brighter, it's real dark in here. I got a flashlight on me, but when it gets brighter, I'm gonna turn off the flashlight and I'm gonna look myself up at BoxRec to show it to you. By the way, I only have one professional fight which I lost. My pro debut, I did it at 44 years old. So I was 44 years old. Fought a guy that was 35, 9 years younger than me, a little bit taller, stronger, but it was a good fight. It, I posted it recently. So in my videos, if you scroll down a little bit, you can actually see my fight. It's a 4-rounder. It's a highlight video, but most of the fight is there. 4-rounder. I dropped my opponent. He dropped me. He won by decision. Angry Mexican. I read a report Turkey paying fighters in cryptocurrency. That I haven't read. I'm not sure if that is the case. If he's paying them in Bitcoin, then it's all good because Bitcoin is on the up and has been. But I don't really know. And cryptocurrency is, I hope, is with a very well-known cryptocurrency, because there's some out there that if you put money into those, you're going to lose that money. Boxing on paper. I think Teo is rebranding himself well. I get that he's cringe, but it's better than being the guy whose dad is heading his career. I honestly think his pops was messing stuff up for him. So, I don't know what's going on between him and his pops. And I tell you, because Pop Deuce usually shows up with his big mouth when it's the press conferences. When it's when it's already a done deal, contracts are signed, we're announcing this fight. That's when Pops usually shows up. Let's see how are things gonna play out going forward. I've said in the past that I didn't think Teofimo Lopez should have his father in the team, at least as a trainer, in his corner, giving instructions. I seen his father giving him horrible instructions at times. I think at this point in his career, when Teofimo has already been fighting at the highest level, he should go associate himself with a world-class trainer. I know he tried to get down with Eddie Reynoso and got kicked off the team, but I think he should, look elsewhere. Angry Mexican. I did like how Turkey seemed to tell Hamza Shiraz the scores. Yeah, Turkey was involved. Made it look like a fix because Carlos Adames won that fight. My brother, if you watch, I posted a video exactly talking about that. That was the first time that I felt a red flag from His Excellency Turki Alalshikh when he did that. And I was watching that fight live. I was calling it. And I thought it was crazy work for him to go to Hamza Shiraz's corner, tell him that he's losing. That was like in round number 10, I believe. They told him, yo, you're losing. You got to win these rounds. And how is it possible that Turkey is giving a fighter information about the scorecards that he's losing? Adames put hands on him in the championship rounds, and the fight ends in a draw. How's it even possible? Turkey already blew up the spot. He said you're losing on the cards, and you get a draw after getting your ass whooped in the championship rounds? That shit don't make no sense. What I felt really happened in that fight is that with Turkey going to the corner and saying what he said, he also said it very loud. The judges heard that. And they already know Turkey want this guy to win. The judges already know that. So it's like, you know what? He out here getting his ass whooped. We can't give him the win. But we're not going to give him a loss. Turkey ain't going to like that. And you see the way that it played out. And then also, controversy, the way that you put things together in your head. You know that Hamza Shiraz is a Muslim. And Carlos Adames isn't. They're fighting in Saudi Arabia. Is it a coincidence that they gifted a draw to a Muslim fighter? I don't know. But it is very obvious that Hamza Shiraz was Turkey's fighter. That's the fighter that Turkey wanted to win. So, and I said this on video before. If His Excellency Turki Alalshikh is at the fight, he can't be going to the fighters, telling them what the scorecards are. You're making it look like this is an inside job. Can't do that. You can't. So there's some red flags associated with His Excellency Turki Alalshikh. Is there evidence of any wrongdoing? No. But it's not a good look. Not a good look at all. Anthony Robertson, no problem. David, the UK in the room, brother. 10:40 a.m. here. Hope you good, man. It's 5:43 in the morning over here, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. Shout out to David and everybody from the UK that's been showing me love. I'm going to tell you guys something interesting, man. Right now, most of the views in this channel are from the US, right? It's like 6, 7 different countries that watch Box Center, like 10 countries that watch Box Center consistently, right? The US, the UK, Russia, the Philippines, multiple countries in Africa, Mexico, Canada, and some other countries. The UK is actually in second place as the country that watches the most Box Center videos. The UK is also in second place as the country that watches the most live videos. So, yo, shout out to my boxing fans in the UK. Y'all been showing me love. Y'all been showing out, coming through. I appreciate y'all. Maker. Damn, makes me wonder if these fighters are really ducking Turkey and not each other. That could be the case. I spoke about that in a live, I think it was 2 days ago. I said, yo, are they ducking? Is this guy ducking this guy? Is he ducking Turkey? What's going on? So I actually made reference to that, my brother. Angry Mexican. Optics look terrible. I'm telling you. His Excellency Turki Alalshikh, there's a side of him that looks real good. Some of the things he's doing. But the side of him that makes it appear like he wants to control people and force them to do what he wants, I don't like that. I don't like that. David, told you Jay Smith blowing up. Appreciate it, my guy. We on the way. We on the way. By the way, my peoples, some of you follow me on Instagram. If you do, you may have noticed I shared the video. And I also posted it on YouTube about Kermel Moulton because I'm tired of not seeing him on TV, man. Like, his fights are not being televised. I posted a video about it. Kermel Moulton himself reposted it on his Instagram. So if you follow Kermel Moulton, then you see me in his stories. He agrees. Of course he's gonna agree. He's that talented, that he's confident that he's gonna get on TV fights and perform, do what he's supposed to do. Anthony Robertson, UK school, I've been there. GOS, what's up? What's the deal, Gio? Appreciate you dropping in, my brother. What do you think about this whole situation? You know, Jaron Boots Ennis turns down Teo. He says he's not going to sell his soul. Now Teofimo Lopez turns down a fight with Devin Haney when they was already in the middle of negotiations. Did Boots duck Teo, or is he ducking Turkey? And the same with Teofimo Lopez. Is he ducking Devin, or is he ducking Turkey? Maker, Jay Smith. Do most people in the DR speak English as good as you? You sound like you're from New York, in my opinion. Well, my brother, you're very good at recognizing accents. I actually grew up in New York. I moved to New York when I was 8 years old. So, you know, I went to elementary school, junior high school, all in New York. So that's why I have this accent. Most people in the Dominican Republic do not speak English. Now, there's a lot of people here that do speak English, but their English is not gonna sound like mine. Boxing on paper. You think it's too early for Moulton versus Vizioli? Yeah, I think so. And I say that I think so because right now Carmel Moulton fights are not even televised. So it's like, like I believe that's a fight that they gotta marinate. You gotta put both of those guys on TV. Maybe put them both on the same card. Carmel, the main event, Vizioli, the undercard, and then Vizioli calls him out. Like they gotta follow a process, I believe, of a couple of years before them two could fight each other and be an interesting fight. Angry Mexican Jay Smith. You know who Rick Glazer is? Of course, my brother. If you scroll back in Box Center, the first person that I interviewed, I didn't even interview, we was just talking boxing, was Rick Glazer. I know Rick Glazer. I got his phone number. We've spoken privately many times. And in fact, Rick Glazer and I both predicted that Terrence Crawford was going to beat Errol Spence by stoppage. And Rick Glazer is the one who first told me, he was like, look, Errol Spence is a fighter. That's something that I wasn't aware of. That who doesn't go to the gym unless he got a fight ready to go. He got a fight lined up. If he don't got a fight lined up, he's not in the gym. I know that right now, I've heard that right now, he's recently been in the gym. Frank Martin said that he's been in the gym, but he doesn't have a fight lined up, right? And it looks like he's just trying to get in shape and all that because he's been inactive for a couple of years. But previously, that's been the knock on Errol Spence. And you guys may remember that Errol Spence used to blow up between fights. There's plenty pictures out there that you can look for where Errol Spence looking big, looking like he got tits with a gut. Between fights, he used to gain a lot of weight. And that's something that Rick Glazer told me about, that was a problem. Like, yo, if he's not lined up for a fight, you're not going to see him in the gym. So Rick Glazer is a guy, he gets a lot of hate in boxing. And even I get hate in boxing because that's just the way it is. If you say something that people don't like about their favorite fighter, some people are going to jump on you, even if it's true. I'm not like that. If you say something about my favorite fighter and it's true, then I'm going to have to give it to you that it's true. My perspective. Derek, what's up, Jay Smith? What's the deal, Derek? Appreciate you dropping in, my brother. David, is your merchandise on the market yet? The t-shirts and hats look real good quality. It is real good quality, my brother. Look, this hat, look, like that's not a sticker. You know what I'm saying? That shit is sold in. And this is the quality. This is the same quality that you will get on a New Era hat, a Major League Baseball hat. Like, these are real good ones. The shirts too. So my brother, just so that you know, the merch, the Box Center merch is gonna be available soon. I'm just working on the logistics so that I could get it to you in the US, but I don't have to sell it too expensive. That's where I'm at right now, because I don't want to tell you give me $60, $70 for a hat, bro. I want to be able to sell it to you for $25, $30. So that's what I'm working on, the logistics, so that I could get it to the US as cheap as possible. As soon as I could get, everything put together, I'm going to do a video letting you guys know that you can order your hats. So I'm working on that, my brother. Box Center gear is going to be available soon, I promise you. Derek, T.O. Devin Haney, if he was willing to fight Boots on Turki's platform. We all know T.O. doesn't do good against that type of style. So that's the thing, man. Devin Haney, slick boxer, crazy footwork, movement. Maybe T.O. just doesn't want to risk it, because if he loses to Devin Haney, he'll never hear the end of it, ever. Devin Haney will remind you, I'll whoop your ass for the rest of his life. And he don't want that. He just doesn't want it. J.O., you box? I'm looking for a tune-up. I don't box, my brother. I used to box as an amateur. I did only one fight as a professional, but I don't box. GOS, I think Boots ducking T.O., and T.O. is ducking Haney. T.O. is losing fans, acting racist, and that's affecting his career. Yes, I said this before. The racist stuff, that's a horrible idea. I know that sometimes people come up with stupid ideas like, yo, if we say racist shit, a lot of people gonna tune in and a lot of people gonna be talking about it. We're gonna go viral. No, you're gonna lose fans. You're gonna lose sponsors. You're gonna lose opportunities. Once people start labeling you as a racist, there's gonna be a lot of people that don't even want to deal with you. So that's a horrible idea. Horrible. I don't know why they decided to do that. Or if maybe Teofimo is really just a racist and it just comes natural to him. Angry Mexican. Tyson Fury been back in training some. If he comes back, who do you want him to fight? Look, man, I believe the way that Tyson Fury's been training and he's been posting videos of him in the gym, I believe that him coming back is the inevitable. You know that he's on good terms with His Excellency Turki Alalshikh and all of them people. So I think that he may actually come back. Honestly, I would still like to see Tyson Fury versus AJ. That fight is not as big as it was when they was both undefeated. Of course it's not. But it's still a big fight. Don't get it twisted. They still selling out a big stadium. And people will tune in. I'd like to see it. Both guys are clearly past their prime. Both guys are, at the tail end of their career. Fight each other. I think it's about time. Fight each other before you retire. Derek, yep. Especially the way people view the Haney stock right now. And look, Devin Haney, his last fight, he got a lot of criticism for it, for the running. But I thought that it was very smart for him to fight that way. Because he came off of a fight with Ryan Garcia where he took a nasty beating. Even though a lot of time passed, he took a nasty beating. Took a lot of punches, hard punches. So for his next fight, it was a good idea to fight in a way that he was going to use his footwork and stay away from punishment. And he did that. So to keep his faculties, to keep his health, to stay in good shape, that was a good fight. He was very smart. Maker, if Teo wants more attention, he should do more salsa dancing videos with that one chick. Yo, listen, there's a lot of ways that you could get attention without having to act like a racist. And the funny thing is, the only people that I know that act like a racist when they're upset is racists. In the closet racists let the racist stuff out as a joke. So I don't know if he's an in the closet racist. Derek, if not Teo, who should Haney fight Jay Smith? Yo, fight Boots. Fuck it. Devin Haney versus Jaron Boots Ennis and keep Turkey out of it. Y'all don't want to deal with Turkey? Keep him out of it and do business with each other directly. I would like to see Devin Haney, Jaron Boots Ennis. But there's a lot of fights. There's a lot of fights that could be made because if you look at all these guys that could fight each other. So we got Boots, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Blair the Flair, Conor Ben is also an option. And now we're going to have Manny Pacquiao, who might be jumping in the mix, which is crazy. We got Ryan Garcia. We got Rollies. Like, there's a lot of guys in and around that division that could fight each other. And let's see what's going to happen with Gary Antoine Russell, too. That's a fight I would like to see for Devin Haney. Gary Antoine Russell and Devin Haney, shit. Let me get that. So there's a lot of possibilities out there. I just don't want to see Devin fight some guy that we never heard of or some guy who's washed up, who hasn't done anything in a long time. I want to see him fight somebody who's in the mix. David, Tyson versus AJ is 7-8 years too late, but it's going to happen, whether it be in Saudi or 85,000 at the Wembley or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I mean, look, it's like I said before. That fight was the biggest that it could have been when they were both undefeated champion. It could have been a unification fight. But even right now, it's still going to be a big fight. Not as big as it was back then, but it's still a big fight because people want to see them fight each other. We want to see it. We want to see who's going to win. How is this actually going to play out? Dominic Bonarigo. Dana White will save the day. I don't know, my brother. I don't know how Dana White is going to save the day because we haven't even heard about that new league since they announced it. That new league, I'm still not sure about it. The fact that they decided to have their own belt, I'm not sure how that's going to work out, my brother. I want to give an opportunity. I want to see how they're going to do it. But it's not looking good to me. It's not looking good. Maker. Now, that's wild to be racist. And from New York, the diversity out there makes it tough to be racist. I think Tio is just dumb sometimes. So, he could be a racist, my brother, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm not sure if you're Hispanic, right? But I'm Hispanic. Obviously, I'm Dominican. And what I could tell you, and everybody that's Hispanic up in here can confirm it. Hispanics that are racists are usually the ones that have very light skin that could almost pass off as white. I know a lot of racist Hispanics that have that skin that they look like they could be white and they racist towards black people. And I can tell you that in New York, you'll see Hispanics who have Teofimo skin color and be acting mad racist. His father, I heard him one time yelling and he sounded mad racist. He said something like, look at this fucking nigga. This fucking nigga. The way that he said it, it sounded to me like that's how he talk about black people. The fucking niggas. Sounded like that's how his pops talk about people. So keep an eye out on that. My Hispanic brothers and sisters know. Usually the racist Hispanics be the ones that look white. Who push the darker Hispanics, even amongst each other. Light-skinned Hispanics be racist towards dark-skinned Hispanics. So Teofimo Lopez being from New York doesn't mean that he's not a racist to me. You know how I will tell you he's not a racist? If you show me his pictures, like his album and stuff, and I see that growing up he hung out with black kids. You know, in elementary school he was playing with black kids. You know, he had black kids come to his house to chill, or he chill in the black kid's house. Then I'll say, yeah, he not racist. He hanging around. But if I see that Teofimo Lopez, listen, if you grew up in New York City and you don't have black friends, chances are you're a racist. Chances are you're a racist. Because if you grew up in New York City, I grew up in New York, and my black where I grew up at, it was Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, and black. Those three. Exclusively. Only Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, and black in the whole block. So, obviously, we hanging out with each other. As kids, we playing games with each other. And as we grow up together in the same block, we become friends. So if you're from there, from New York, and you don't have no black friends, that's suspicious. That's all I'm going to say. And I've never seen Teofimo, you know, not that I'm always checking him out, but I've never really seen him hanging out or being cool with black folks or his pops. GOS, Haney needs to fight Romero. Boots knows Tio style is tailor-made for him, and Tio rematch with Cambosos is the best thing for Tio right now. So I'm going to say, Gio, Haney versus Rollies is a good fight. I like that. Now, Boots knows Tio's style is tailor made for him. I'm not sure about that, my brother. And the reason I say I'm not sure about that is because Teofimo Lopez, his style of boxing, he can box you on the inside. He can fight you in a phone booth. He can fight you in a football field. We saw that in his last fight. He didn't just go in there and slug and bang. He used that footwork effectively. So I think that you're not quite accurate where he has the style for Boots. I think his style could give Boots problems. I think that he will definitely give Boots his toughest fight. Plus, Teofimo is more accomplished than Boots, been in there with better opponents than Boots. So I think that's a tough fight. I think that is a tough fight for Boots. As far as Tio versus Kambosos, Kambosos is a smart man, my brother. He don't want a rematch. They offered it to him. When Tio moved up to 140, they offered him the rematch at 140, and he chose not to take it. He knows. Kambosos knows that Teofimo, number one, struggled to make weight when they fought, and number two, had a health issue, which affected him. If you recall, even though Kambosos won that fight, towards the end of it, towards the championship rounds, he was surviving. Teofimo dropped him, and he went on survival mode. The only reason he won that fight is because he got ahead on the cards early on, so Teofimo Lopez was not able to come back. They had a horrible game plan and did not adjust. Teofimo went in there thinking he was going to stop Kambosos, thinking he was just going to blow him out of the water. And when that didn't work, they took too much time to actually start boxing him. It was like by the 7th round that Teofimo started, okay, let's box, and started boxing him and winning the boxing match. But before that, he was getting beat up because he was trying to blast him out of there. J.O. Tom Aspinall is ducking John Jones. My brother, I don't know what to tell you about that. That's MMA, my guy. I'm not gonna say that I'm an MMA analyst or specialist or anything like that. I don't know what's going on with that. I would like to see them fight each other, but I don't really know much about that. Derek, crazy how WBO and Top Rank let it slide. You know that there's always politics. It's just like when a sanctioning body allows a fighter to stay inactive for a year and don't strip him. And then other fighters, as soon as they mandate it, if they don't fight, boom, they get stripped. Everybody has their relationships behind the scenes, and shit goes down that we don't know about. Maker, wait, who's the last black fighter Tio faced? I can't remember. I know he beat Richard Comey to become a champion, but besides Richard Comey, I can't remember. El Fantasma de Geraldo Ledén. For sure, 100%. What's good, my brother? Appreciate you dropping in. Derek, ayo, word. His Tio's wife left him and started dating a black guy. That's why he's spazzing out. I mean, if she left him and started dating a black guy, that's not going to be reason for... That could be a reason for you to hate that black guy. That's not a reason for you to become a racist. J.O., black American fighters do get overhyped. Tell was right about that. Jared Anderson, perfect example. It's not fair for you to say that, my brother, because fighters from everywhere get overhyped. It's not just black American fighters. Fighters from everywhere get overhyped. Fighters from Canada been overhyped. Fighters from Africa been overhyped. From Saudi Arabia, from the UK. Fighters from all over the world get overhyped. That's just part of every sport. If you look up basketball, football, baseball, in every single sport, athletes, there's going to be athletes who get overhyped. Derek, that's prospects in general, though. Yeah, fighters will get overhyped, especially with Top Rank. El Fantasma, talk to me, my brother. What are we laughing at? Angry Mexican, yeah, Jay Smith. Rick Glazer gets a bad rap on these YouTube streams, but he has information and is pretty entertaining. Listen, man, Rick Glazer is someone who's very well connected within boxing. He's a legitimate source. Rick Glazer has told us a lot of shit well before it happens. And then when it happens, people don't give him credit. I'm going to tell you a prediction that I made, and I didn't know, but Rick Glazer on his own end was also making that same prediction. I predicted that Al Heyman and the PBC was going to run Showtime Boxing into the ground. I said Showtime is going to leave boxing just like HBO did. Watch. Now, my peoples, when I made that prediction, I had a shitload of people hating on me. I had a shitload of people telling me, you don't know shit about boxing. Showtime Boxing is the best. It's never gonna go nowhere. You just a hater. You don't know what's gonna happen. You're not a sidekick. All type of shit, my people. People going at me. Because they don't understand that I'm an analyst. I analyze the data and then render an opinion. I don't come up with opinions, my people, because this is what I want. So I'm going to make an opinion because that's what I want. No, not at all, my people. I analyze data. And I'm gonna clarify that for you, my God. I'm going to clarify that for you, my people. Angry Mexican, I had no clue you interviewed him already. I have to go back and check it. Yeah, go to my videos, not the shorts, the regular videos, and scroll down fast all the way to the beginning. Back Center's only been for a year. So when you scroll down, you'll be able to, in less than a minute, you'll be able to get to the first videos that I posted, and you'll find the Rick Glazer interview. Maker, the tail behind the back punch is crazy though. You ever seen another trick punch like that? I never seen that like that, but it's not effective. You can't really hurt anybody with that punch, so it's something to have fun with. Not even worth it. It's not even worth doing it in a fight. Anthony Robertson, the best baseball player in the world, is from Japan. When you say the best in the world, remember that's an opinion though. GOS, what do you think about Pacquiao fighting Barrios? I said it before, my brother. I'm not willing to write Manny Pacquiao off. We're talking about one of the best of this era, an all-time great. We're talking about one of the most accomplished fighters in history. I wrote him off versus Keith Thurman, and we saw what he did. So I'm not willing to write him off. I understand that Barrios will and should be the favorite, but I will never write off Manny Pacquiao. On Lace, salute, Jay Smith. Salute, my brother. Let me tell you guys about my prediction, my peoples, that I made before. When I predicted that PBC was going to run Showtime Boxing into the ground, and it ended up happening, I made that prediction because I saw what was happening with Showtime, and it reminded me of what happened with HBO. I saw it coming. And Rick Glazer saw it coming too. We spoke about that. Me and him spoke about that. And look, it played out that way. So when Showtime dropped boxing from its programming, all the people who said that I don't know shit about boxing, when I said that was going to happen, they disappear. Some of them even deleted their comments from the videos, so I won't be able to respond to them. So Rick Glazer is a guy who analyzes stuff, who has people on the inside that he calls and writes to see what's going on. He legit. El Fantasma de Geraldo Leden, Jay Smith, for sure, if you live in NYC, you shouldn't be a racist. And I laugh about the wife leaving him and going black. There you go. Number one, you're in New York City talking about Dominican, Puerto Rican, Haitian, Asian, Mexican, African American, Italian. There's a lot of communities in New York City mixing in with each other. So if you grew up in New York, you're not supposed to be a racist. That's for sure. Derek, shows Tio lack maturity though. should have even hate the guy if his lady made the decision to walk away. Of course not. Of course not. When a couple has a situation and one decides to go with somebody, you should never have a problem with that somebody. The problem should be between y'all. Don't have a problem with somebody else. And you know what? I think it is interesting that his wife left him for a black person, allegedly, because I don't know that for a fact. And shortly after, Teofimo started talking about watermelons, bananas, you know, calling niggas niggers with the R at the end, you know, the way racists do it. So, yo, it's almost like that's a feeling that he's had on the inside. And when the wife left him for a black man, allegedly, he exploded and started letting out those emotions. That's what it looks like to me. Liam, Teo versus Haney is not that good or important fight anyways. I think it is, brother. I can't agree with you on that one. And the reason I say that is because right now, Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney are two of the most important young fighters and two of the most accomplished young fighters. So Teofimo Lopez would be a huge win for Devin Haney, but Devin Haney would also be a huge win for Teofimo. So both of them will boost up their resume significantly with a win over the other. Derek, PBC should just go to the zone. PBC should go to the zone. My brother, I've been said that. And what the funny thing about that is, and what would have made it hard for them to go to the zone, you don't remember when Leonard Ellerby and Eddie Hearn was going back and forth on social media, and Ellerby laughed and said, yo, those people fight on a little application. We on Showtime. Our fighters are never going to fight on an app. And they ended up on Amazon Prime. After burning all the TV bridges, burn bridges with ESPN, burn bridges with Showtime, burn bridges with Fox, y'all ended up on Amazon Prime. On an app that is not even known for boxing. That's the way the cookie crumbles. You try to shit on people who fight on an app, and now you're on an app. I know Crawford be looking strong as hell in training. But if he bulks up and comes in looking fluffy, will you change your take on the fight? Although I think Bomac and Bud are smart. So Ozzy, he's not gonna look fluffy, and I'm gonna tell you why. Crawford has been very, very smart with the way that he is bulking up or already bulked up. He's done it gradually. He didn't stay at a low weight and waited, till they signed a deal with Canelo to start gaining weight. As soon as he got off the ring versus Madrimov, he started that process. And guess what? I've seen Crawford the other day hopping on a scale and weighing 185 pounds, brother. And at 185, he looked bulk. No fluff, no gut, bulk. So while people sitting there thinking that Crawford is going to move up from 154 to 168, that's 14 pounds that he's going to have to gain to fight Canelo. Crawford is walking around at 180 something pounds, and he's actually going to have to cut weight to be at 168. People not understanding that. That's why I tell you, I'm an analyst, and I see stuff that people just don't see. I just had somebody yesterday telling me, yo, Jay, what you think is going to happen? Crawford is going to have to gain 14 pounds to fight Canelo. He's going to be weak because he's gaining weight. I'm like, my brother, Crawford's weighing over 180 pounds right now. He's not going to gain weight to fight Canelo. He's going to cut weight. Remember that I told you this, my people. Because for whatever reason, so many folks are not taking that into account. So many folks feel like he's going to have to gain weight to fight Canelo. That's no good. Meanwhile, Crawford walking around at 180-something pounds. So I'm telling you, he's not going to look fluffy. He's not going to look, blown up. He's going to look strong as hell. You're going to look strong as hell. And his body's going to look more defined than Canelo's. That's how he's going to look. I can tell you that right now. Derek, they're on an app now with no budget. Pride before the fall through. Pride began before the fall through. And the funny thing, my brother, about the whole situation with the app, that they try to sell it to the PBC fan base like this was the greatest deal ever. I remember people from the PBC fan base telling me, yo, you a hater. Amazon got millions of subscribers. PBC is going to go insane in Amazon Prime. I'm like, yo, y'all not understanding that what they didn't tell you is that the deal with Amazon is a distribution deal. Meaning Amazon will give you their platform so you can put your events on there, and you'll give them a percentage of the revenue. They're letting you use their platform. That's it. Amazon doesn't promote PBC. Amazon doesn't do. If you go on Amazon, you're not gonna find commercials saying, "Yo, check out our PBC fights that are coming up." PBC promotes their own shit. PBC pays Amazon for some advertisement spots. It actually a horrible deal. If you look at Top Rank, Queensbury, if you look at Top Rank, Queensbury, Golden Boy, Matchroom, if you look at all of them, PBC right now has the worst deal out of everybody. They have the worst deal out of everybody. They have the least amount of cards lined up, the least amount of fighters that are actually active. I'm going to put it to you like this. Since PBC went to Amazon Prime, how many PBC fighters have you seen fighting on Amazon Prime? You tell me. Carmel Moulton been fighting elsewhere. He ain't even been fighting on Amazon Prime. He was fighting, matter of fact, the other day, I think he fought twice on a Danny Garcia card elsewhere. Angry Mexican. Leonard can go up 2 weight classes to be Hagler. Why can Bud do it for Canelo? He can do it for Canelo. He will do it for Canelo. He will. Ozzy. This is one of those fights where I think Crawford might make it look easy. That can even happen, bro. Because, everybody's focusing on the weight, the weight. But I will say, I'll remind y'all. Number one, the 2 people who beat Canelo, Floyd Mayweather, Dimitri Bivol, they not power punchers, no high knockout percentage. So power was not a factor when Canelo got beat twice. Power was not a factor. And both of those guys made it look easy. That's what boxing fans don't understand. Styles make fights. Just because you're great doesn't mean that somebody can't make you look bad. 2 different fighters made Canelo look bad, made it look easy against him. So don't put it past Crawford to also make him look bad. Ozzy, all these bigger guys who spar both Canelo and Crawford always picking Crawford. That just means he has way more skills. He does have way more skills. That's why every time, the naysayers talk about it, all they say is, nah, Crawford is too small, Canelo's too big, Canelo's too strong. All they talk about is size and power. but they never really bring up skills. You don't see people saying, yo, Canelo's going to win because he's the better boxer. He's going to outbox Crawford. It's about, oh, Crawford's not going to be able to stop him. You know, he's going to walk Crawford down because he's big and strong. Crawford won't be able to do anything about it. Come on now. Nobody really talking about skills because they know who's the better boxer out of the two. PBC is keeping the American promotion alive. No, I don't know how, my brother. How are you keeping the American promotion alive when you're not even having cards? PBC has had how many cards this entire year? 3? We're already past the midway point. PBC has had like 3 cards. I'm talking about on Amazon Prime. Like 3 cards this entire year. They got one coming up. I'm not sure when that is. Oh, the Tank Davis card, which is not ready yet. Look, I also somebody told me about this yesterday, my people, but I saw it myself now. Steven Espinoza is saying that. Oh no, I don't know if it's Espinoza or who is it. I forgot. But they're saying that they don't have a budget for the Tank Davis Lamont Roach rematch. They selling you this great deal that they have with Amazon Prime. And they ain't even got a budget for Tank Davis. The biggest name on PBC, they don't have a budget. How does that sound? Why? Because your ass is over there. That's why. The bottom line, my peoples, PBC going to Amazon Prime was a horrible idea. It was a horrible idea. I even say, yo, the way it's going, Al Heyman gonna end up promoting in small little venues with Don King somewhere. They're gonna be irrelevant. Because little by little, they're getting phased out. You're seeing all these young fighters, Olympians, amateur standouts, you know, kids who have that amateur pedigree. They're signing with Eddie Hearn. They're signing with Oscar De La Hoya. They're signing with Top Rank, with Bob Arum. They're signing with Queensbury. I'm not seeing those young kids going to PBC, bro. PBC doesn't have the type of roster that they had before. Kids are not running to sign with them. Especially now that they with Amazon Prime. Not looking good. It's not looking good over there, my peoples. That's what I will say. And one thing, J.O., that I also wanted to say, you know, when you say PBC keeping the American promotion alive, you got to keep in mind, Bob Arum has a bunch of American fighters. De La Hoya has American fighters. Eddie Hearn has Jaron Boots Ennis and Shakur Stevenson. And he got Floyd Schofield. Oh no, Golden Boy got Floyd Schofield. So PBC is not the only promotional company, my brother, that has American fighters. They all do. Angry Mexican, will Buff fight like William Score? If so, he can beat Canelo on the cards. He's not going to fight like William Score. He's not going to fight like William Score. There is going to be a little bit of toe-to-toe going on. There is going to be, you know, some footwork, but Crawford is not going to fight him like that at all. Watch. Derek, hey, yo, what happened to Ellerby? Ellerby disassociated himself to Floyd Mayweather, and he's working directly with Tank Davis. But Ellerby is another one who he may be in hot waters. He may be on the hot seat. Why? Tank Davis is talking about retiring. Tank Davis is talking about, you know, the Lamont Roach rematch, Jake Paul at the end of the year, and retirement. And what Eddie Hearn said to Leonard Ellerby, there's no more shine when Tank's gone, when he's gone. No more sunshine when Tank's gone. Why he's saying that? Because what other fighter is Leonard Ellerby associated to? What other big name fighter have you seen working with Leonard Ellerby? Hey yo, what happened to Leonard Ellerby? Have you seen dude over a year? Yeah, I seen him. I seen him maybe like a few months ago. You know, he's looking a lot older with the gray hair, the gray beard. Oh, not the gray hair because he got the bald head, but with the gray beard, and he looks a little bit worn out. But look, I'm gonna tell you like this: Leonard Ellerby, in a way, he's like the American dream, and I'm gonna tell you why. This video of him holding the spit bucket for Floyd to spit in, like he was an assistant, and he went from the guy holding the bucket for Floyd to spit in to the CEO of TMT. So Leonard Ellerby climbed the ranks, and the reason I think that he climbed the ranks is because, and I'm telling you, I think this also. I've seen videos of people say that he was a yes man to Floyd. He was the guy that, yes, Floyd, yes. You know that guy that's going to laugh at every joke you say, the guy that's always going to say you're right, the guy that's always going to take your side. He was that guy. So he kind of like became Floyd's right-hand man. And look how far up he climbed. But the only problem is that Leonard Ellerby is only associated with things Floyd Mayweather's associated with. Which means once he no longer deal with Floyd Mayweather, what is Leonard Ellerby going to do next? What is he building? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to have his own promotion or manage fighters or what. But right now, it looks to me like Leonard Ellerby is only working with Tank Davis. Right now. And if that's the case, his career in boxing is close to over. If that's the case. Because what you going to do when Tank Davis leaves? You're not a trainer. You're not a promoter. You're a manager. But who are you going to manage? So I want to, let's see how Leonard Ellerby's career is going to play out going forward. Derek, yeah, I respect that. His takes were just really bad and hard to watch a lot of the times, though. You know what? I think Leonard Ellerby sometimes says shit that he didn't even believe. Because, he's a team guy. So it's about promoting the brand, promoting the company, defending everybody on our team. So he says some outlandish shit, but I think he's protecting his team. Derek, kind of like Ellie Setback. Yeah, look, Ellie Setback, to me, he comes across as a serious ass kisser who be just, he be having Tank Davis Kizak in his mouth and other fighters that was down with PBC at the time. And the funny thing about Ellie Setback and the reason why I didn't really like him, I noticed that two fighters, right, will be in the same situation and he'll discredit this one, talk mad shit about this one, and then this one he'll talk good about him because he's a PBC fighter. So you can see that Ellie Setback is very, very, very biased. These are my guys. These are the guys that, I asked them bullshit ass questions, easy, simple questions, and those are the guys over there that I talk bad about them. If you, Ellie Setback is like a reporter slash fanboy. That's what he is. Reporter slash fanboy. Why? Because if you think about it, PBC fans, for example, don't like Top Rank. Because that's another promotional company. They compete against each other. Okay, you're a PBC fan. You don't like Top Rank. Cool. But as a reporter, you're not supposed to be part of that. As a reporter, you're supposed to just report. But no, he constantly takes sides. And that's why I don't like that. I think dude is a sucker. Arch 30. kind of bogus. Tank went off on Ellerby a few years back. Now he's on the team. Crazy work. Yo. Now he's on the team. But I don't remember Tank going off on him. I know Adrian Broner went off on him. Called him a bitch in his face and everything. But I don't remember Tank going off on him. Derek was going to ask you, Matias Puello, how you see it going down? Look, I think that obviously Subriel Matias got a chip on his shoulder. He's getting another shot at a title. I expect him to be the same old Subriel Matias that we're used to seeing. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to be coming forward, letting them hands fly. And Puello is going to look to outbox him. He's going to use that jab. He's going to be using that footwork on him, that movement that bothers Subriel Matias. That's a hard fight to predict. I am going to make my prediction. To be honest, I'm not going to make it right now because there's a few things that I want to analyze first before I actually make my final prediction. I will say, though, Subriel Matias has one weakness, and it's that he takes too much punishment. Most of his career, he's relied on knocking guys out. And you're not gonna knock everybody out. You gotta box too. So, with that said, I think Puello has the skill set to frustrate him and outbox him. Subriel Matias has the power to catch him with a big shot and change the optics of the fight. So they both have something in their favor. Let's see how it plays out. We know that in most cases, when you put the boxer and the puncher, the boxer wins. Boxers beat punchers all the time. But it just takes one punch to change everything. So I'll make a prediction before the fight comes up, by the way. I just don't want to make it now. But that's going to be a good fight, my brother. It's going to be a real competitive fight. Arch30, oh yeah, that was Broner, my bad. Yeah, it was Adrian Broner. Call him a bitch right to his face. Shut your bitch ass up. Abandoned Gracie. You are not a fighter, bro. Okay, I'm not a fighter, brother. I'm an analyst. I'm a boxing analyst. Are you a fighter? But again, my peoples, you know, with the original subject that we started with, when it comes to, you know, the whole situation with Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Jaron Boots Ennis, I'm still wondering, you know, why these fights didn't happen. And it looks like we're getting some hints. The fact that Boots said, so I'm supposed to sell my soul to fight Teofimo Lopez, that's something to consider. Because if he's talking about I'm supposed to sell my soul, what exactly is he referring to when he said that? What kind of deal does he have to sign? Or what do he have to agree with to fight Teofimo? I don't know. But I find it very interesting that he worded it that way, having to sell his soul to fight Teofimo. And now you got Teofimo pulling out of a fight with Devin. And he's also blaming Turki. So are they ducking? You know, was Boots ducking Teo? Was Teo ducking Devin? Or are they all ducking His Excellency Turki Alalshikh? I don't know. I don't know. Derek. True. I would like to see Matias versus Russell, though. That fight would be fireworks. Ooh. But you're talking about Antoine, right? Gary Antoine Russell, the one that's a champion. I would love to see that fight. I would love to see that fight, my brother. That's a great fight. And Gary Antoine Russell, he's a throwback type of fighter. He's going to fight anybody. He's not turning down no smoke. So if they offer him a fight with Subriel Matias, I can tell you right now he's going to take that. Arch30 Boost. Boxing acting shady again. Look. Hold on one second. Hold up. So it's like I told you, my peoples. Jaron Boots Ennis declined the offer to fight Teofimo Lopez. Now, Teofimo Lopez pulls out of the fight with Devin Haney. Boots said, so I have to sell my soul to fight Teofimo. And Teofimo is complaining about His Excellency Turki Alalshikh. So the question I gotta ask you, is Boots ducking Teofimo? Is Teofimo ducking Devin? Or are they both ducking His Excellency Turki Alalshikh? Y'all tell me. Clifford Richards, bros, nobody wants to fight. They all paid. Come on, my guy. How you gonna say that? Don't say that, my guy. They all want to fight. They all want to fight. When you talk about they're all paid, you got to put it into context. They're all paid, but they live a lifestyle that they got to keep getting paid. If Teofimo Lopez stopped fighting right now, he's going to go broke. All of these young fighters, if they stop fighting right now, they're going to go broke. So they paid. You're right about that. But guess what? They got a big mansion that takes a nice chunk of money to maintain. They got a family to feed. They got cars that are expensive to maintain. They got a swimming pool and pay them to clean that shit every other month. They got expenses. Expensive stuff. Their bills are different than our bills. So, yeah, you're right. They got money. But they got to keep making money, my brother. Being paid doesn't mean that you can stop getting paid. Unless you're, a billionaire or wealthy to a certain level, you got to keep making money, my brother. You can't just, I don't want to fight. I'm already paid. Nah, they got to keep getting paid. Derek, I see Boots fighting Norman at the end of the year. I hope so. That's really the fight to make for Jaron Boots Ennis, because if you think about it, they're going to be able to unify 3 titles. They was already in negotiations. They couldn't make it happen. Cool. But let's see if they enter negotiations once again. Boots already said he wants Brian Norman Jr. He already said it. He's on record as saying that. So, hopefully, they can make that fight happen. Brian Norman Jr., he wants to get paid what he feels like he's worth. That's why the fight didn't happen the last time. They offered a certain amount, and he wanted them to give him a little bit more. They didn't. And he's going to be fighting in this month. Brian Norman Jr. is going to be fighting soon. So when he fights, wins, I think they're going to revisit negotiations. And let's see. Hopefully they make the fight happen. I want to see Boots versus Norman Jr. That's a great fight. That's a great fight in the welterweight division. Now, whoever wins, and I want to say Boots is going to win that fight, but I'm not making a prediction just yet because I have that much respect for Brian Norman Jr., and he's that good. But whoever wins out of them two is probably going to go after the winner of Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao hasn't even fought yet, my people. And there's already fighters calling him out. Everybody's going to want in on the Manny Pacquiao sweepstake. Everybody. Because you're going to be on the biggest platform that you ever been, fighting the biggest name that you ever fight if you could get in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. Now everybody wants him. People will be rooting for Manny Pacquiao to win so that they can try to get that fight. I promise you, if Manny Pacquiao wins, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Rollies, Boots, Keith Thurman, and everybody else is going to be calling him out. Everybody's going to want in on that sweepstake. Clifford Richards, I'm frustrated with the whole thing. Low risk, high reward, fans lose in the pocket. I agree with you 100%, my guy. There's a lot of fights that should be made and are not happening for that same reason. For that same reason. Sometimes the business of boxing gets in the way of the sport of boxing, of allowing it to progress as it should. But I can tell you, I am happy with some of the fights that we're getting. And we do have some throwback fighters who want to fight everybody. If you look at Richardson Hitches, he wants to fight everybody. If you look at Conor Ben, he wants to fight everybody. Like, there's a group of fighters out there who want to fight whoever. If you look at Abdullah Mason, just turned 21 years old, and he's pursuing a fight with Keyshawn Davis. So, Keyshawn Davis is going to fight Edwin De Los Santos, and if he wins, which he should, he might end up fighting Abdullah Mason later this year. That's a heck of a fight. Young boy, Abdullah Mason trying to get that smoke. Jamie Giblin, who you think will win? Jamie, are you talking about, which fight are you talking about? Because I've spoken about so many fights. When you're asking me who I think will win, which fight are you talking about? Are you talking about Keyshawn Davis, Edwin De Los Santos? If so, I got Keyshawn Davis winning that. Derek, that's the fight. That's the fight Boots doesn't get though. I mean, I think they were close with the type of money that they were offering Brian Norman Jr. I think that they were close enough to where they might be able to make a deal now. Like, they're gonna say, you know what, let's give them that little extra and make it happen. Pac, oh, okay, Pac-Man and Barrios, my people. Listen, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, man. When it comes to Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios, I understand why Mario Barrios is going to be the favorite. He should be the favorite. You know, the much younger fighter, the champion. But Manny Pacquiao, I'm just not willing to write him off. I wrote him off when he fought Keith Thurman. We saw how that played out. You know, Pac-Man is one of the best fighters of this generation. One of the best fighters ever. So I'm not just going to write him off. I think he has a chance of winning that fight. But a fighter can get old in the ring right in front of you. So just like I'm telling you that he has a chance to win that fight, there's also a possibility that he could get his ass whooped. Like, take a beat down. And we're like, damn, he should have never stepped in the ring again. That can happen. He could get old right in front of our eyes. Let's see how it plays out. Derek, nah, I meant the Pac Barrios winner. Boots ain't getting that fight. Oh, hell no. Hell no, he not getting that fight. Manny Pacquiao is not going to step in the ring with Boots. That's number one. And number two, Mario Barrios is a PBC fighter. You know why I point that out? You got to remember that Jaron Boots Ennis was fighting on Showtime. And when his deal was up, when his deal was up with his previous promoter, that he sued them and everything, everybody was trying to sign Jaron Boots Ennis. PBC, Top Rank, Golden Boy, Matchroom, everybody was trying to sign Boots. And the people who were closest to him was the PBC, because he was fighting on Showtime on PBC cards. So he already knew the people on PBC. Yet, he decided to sign with Matchroom, with Eddie Hearn. So here's the magic question for y'all. You think after Boots dissed PBC and left with Eddie Hearn, you think that Al is going to sacrifice Mario Barrios to Jaron Boots Ennis so he can take that title over there? I don't see it. I don't see no possibility of that happening. Jamie Giblin, here comes the upset. Pac going to make me a lot of money. Yo, he's going to be the underdog. He's going to be the underdog. So, yes, you'll be able to make some money off of Pac-Man. But it's like I told you, my peoples. When it comes, let me put my phone over here. When it comes to Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao facing each other off, the winner, I do not see them facing Boots. I just don't see it happening. Especially since, Boots turned down PBC to sign with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. And you think PBC is going to sacrifice Mario Barrios to Jaron Boots Ennis so he could snatch that title and take it over there? Nah. I don't see that happening. That's just me. That's just me personally, my peoples. Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao, I do believe that's going to be a competitive fight. I'm going to tell you that right now. For those who are saying, oh, Manny Pacquiao's washed up, Mario Barrios going to beat him up and all that, it's not going to go down like that. Manny Pacquiao is one of the greatest fighters of this era, and he's an all-time great. So don't write him off. I seen an interview with Zab Judah saying, yo, I got Manny Pacquiao winning that fight. He's still Manny Pacquiao. So you got to understand. You got to understand, my people. Manny Pacquiao does have a chance to win that fight. And then what next? If Manny Pacquiao beats Mario Barrios, I promise you, everybody's going to want in on the Manny Pacquiao sweepstake. We already seen Rollies say that he want to fight Pac-Man. We've seen in the past Ryan Garcia express an interest in Pac-Man. Well, guess what? Keith Thurman is going to want that rematch. Boots is going to want to fight for that title so he can unify. Everybody's going to want to fight Manny Pacquiao if he's able to beat Mario Barrios. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see it. We're going to see how it plays out. My peoples, I'm about to end this live. As always, before I do, I want to give a shout out to everybody who came through to talk boxing. My boy Jamie Giblin, Derek, R30, GOS, Clifford Richard. Let me see who else came through today. Who else came through? My brother J.O., Ozzy, Angry Mexican. Yo, I appreciate everybody who came through, talk boxing this morning. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm Jay Smith. This is Box Center. This is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. My peoples, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And by the way, I seen some of my subscribers who actually took some of my videos and shared them on YouTube. Like, copy the link and share it on YouTube. Some copy the link and share it on your stories on IG. And yo, I want to give a shout out and a salute to everybody who has shared Box Center. You guys are helping me spread the world around. This is going to be the #1 boxing channel in the world. It's the inevitable, my people. So I'm about to get the hell out of here. I'm about to have breakfast. Once again, thank you, everybody, for sharing the channel. Salute, peace, and one love, yo. I'm going to see y'all later.